mema wakwa abastronko so eba POG Media so mesure sasa afei and aso aba dwumadie ne so a obe subscribe like dwumadie ne share na ma for so ensanka bi kindly click on the notification bell no so send be the news be to platform no so a onso wo hunu de echo ene de ebo agentry na wonhia ye enti fashion under the comment section nim fama yenko yensem num a eye Ivan Chain and all kasa na o chese hwe Akuffo Addo ba bi nanka ukomo college ma ye de ntoma ese ho ema onam so neso ne Akuffo Addo ekwa akofo mpo no hwe eka de eka to ne bro nanka ye de ye bo eye papa ya anase ye mampani dada ya wai de watwam na allegedly nanka ye de nanka omu gwana na chese enya asem keto de nsem bebre eto dwenko ne konkoti
matters. I mean, let me start you off on what is perhaps the brewing issue in the country right now. So some few minutes ago, we got information that Mr. Pr0blėm, the host of Good Evening Ghana on Metro TV, who appeared before the OSP, ended up spending the night in NIB cells. And then about an hour ago, we got information that he had been released, but was asked to report to the OSP's office. Now, the OSP says the release was supposed to be from his office. After an hour of waiting, this according to lawyers from Mr. Pr0blėm and his legal team are told they are to be released at a location in cantonment. So even though there's an official release, his freedom or his temporal freedom is not with him yet. I don't know what your reaction to this developing story is.
Very well. So I was working with the lawyers on this matter, and I was there this afternoon at the OSP. We engaged, and I'm sure that we reached a good point for the purposes of the bail conditions. Mm-hmm. I think within short period, we should be able to get him completely out of the place. So, I don't think there's anything to worry again at all.
The OSP also in a press release a few minutes ago says the office has accepted a revised bail condition proposed by the legal counsel from Mr. Parliamentary board chair. The revised terms, which meet the objectives of the original bail condition, have been secured by the Josport Group of Companies, and for that matter, this matter should be resolved as soon as possible. Some lawyers, and you are a lawyer of good standing, have suggested that the bail law, which institutions now have some right to impose bail condition on suspects before them, they think that this matter should rather be handled by the court, not the institution. I don't know what your legal brain may say to this matter.
Okay, I would prefer to make a very hypothetical statement, and without referencing the Pr0blėm matter, and okay. I pray that I'm understood in context. Bail generally is a discretionary thing. You know, as lawyers, one of the things that we are told that when you appear before a judge on any application for bail, your posture should not be law. Mm-hmm. You must always plead, because it is an exercise of discretion. And then Martin Kpebu pushed further on this matter, went to the Supreme Court, and this time the Supreme Court then ruled that, well, nobody should be denied bail.
Right.
And that old story of non-bailable offenses were matters of the past. So now every accused is entitled to bail, but the issue is the conditions of the bail. My view is that a bail condition should not be so onerous. Shouldn't be such that it will be difficult for the person to meet. Otherwise, then the whole thing becomes nugatory.
But is it normal practice, for example, the institution setting the bail condition to say that, for example, you should produce 2 landed property? In the event that I don't have a landed property, that doesn't mean that I don't get my freedom?
Well, I have had problems with EOCO. The EOCO approach is where I have a problem. For instance, EOCO will say it should be title document, and then it should also be valued, and then Yoko would be looking at the offense and then the quantum of money associated with the so-called investigation.
Right.
And then use that to say that we are granting you bail in this sum. I hold a view that in all of these, it should be done with a human face. Lately, all of these arrests involve MPP appointees. The government, in my view, is abusing its goodwill. The goodwill given them by the people of Ghana to govern. They think that it is by doing this persecution, finding everything wrong with the MPP administration, that would really reassure the people that, oh, some good men have come into office. I would want them to be measured in the way they are taking their goodwill for granted. Very soon, Ghanaians will wake up and ask for the daily, issues, the things that confront them. They want reliable electricity, power supply.
Right.
They want cost of living to go down. Businessmen want to be able to do their business, get access to forex to be able to trade. They would need potable water. They would want their roads to be fixed. So these should be the things that they as a government should focus on. Rather than thinking that, okay, every now and then arrest, then they hold a press conference and try to create the impression that somebody has looted. I don't have a problem if a state agency has a matter for a person to answer. Of course, all of us going into public office, we must have that in mind that going into public office, one day you would have to answer for your
Right.
I don't have a problem with it. But it's the way and manner you carry it. For instance, look at Addo. This guy has been with national security. We all know. And when it comes to the security of the state, the intelligence agencies, they have all manner of things they employ for the sake of our country.
Right.
So you don't come out like that to create the impression that the person is a thief or he has stolen from the state and all that. Some of our colleagues who were incarcerated, kept for a number of days, for me, they could have done it better. Look at Wontumi. He was invited by police CID. And we have it on good authority that Yoko wanted the police to hold him, and the police, being very professional, declined. And you know what? Immediately Wontumi got out of the police headquarters. Some pickups accosted him, pulled him out of his car. Couldn't that have been done in a better way? For instance, a call to Wontumi, or even if an officer had gone there to say, oh, Chairman Wontumi, Yoko also needs you for investigation. I'm sure Wontumi would have yielded. He had his lawyers. You get my point. It is when the man is resisting arrest, then you can, deploy some other means. On Adnan, the former buffer stock chief executive,
Right.
who was our parliamentary candidate for Pusiga. You go in a Rambo style to arrest him, he and the wife, then he's in your custody, then you set a very onerous bill condition, go and bring this property, this, that, and keep the guy in your custody for over 14 days. And that is about Yoko. I think that for these bill conditions, they are questionable. Government would have to look at these things and those officers involved. Because you see, you will not be in power forever. And for those of us who are moderate, and today I said it in Parliament, for those of us who are moderating some of these things, you make it difficult for us to prevail on some hawks in future. Because people are watching. At a country, we must have, a ceiling, a cut-off point.
Is this to suggest that there could be payback in the events that there's change in government?
Very well. Let me explain myself well. Sometimes when we talk to our friends, they will tell us that, oh, but your people also did it. So it's like payback time. You know, some of their senior guys, me, I've stopped calling them. Why? Because when you are trying to say, guy, bro, let's end this. Let's end this. They try to refer you
to what happened earlier.
What happened? I won't sit here and say that MPP, everything was perfect. There were times that some of us had to also come in to intervene on certain matters, and we were successful. So they cannot shut their minds completely to some of the interventions we made quietly for some of their colleagues who were having issues with the law. You get my point? So if today you think that, oh, you want to show somebody where the power lies, for me, when I reach out 1, 2, 3, and I realize that you are not accommodating, I'll stop calling.
You think?
But let me conclude on this point. I think that as politicians or as political leaders, we must wake up to a day where we would allow the law to work in a human way. If you don't give the law a human face, sooner than later, you yourself will become a victim of it. And I'm saying that after over 30 years of practicing democracy, isn't it enough for us to end this vicious cycle of you do you, I do me?
Right.
When you talk, our friends say, hey, you, okay. But don't be too happy because this power is like an ice block.
So basically, your problem is with the mode in which
the mode, I don't have a problem. Why?
It's not about the fact that accountability is being demanded of us.
Well, Alton, we must all be accountable. We must all be accountable.
Are you under any investigation?
No. Nobody has invited me to answer any question. If I am invited to answer for my stewardship, the few months I spent at ECG, why not?
As board chair?
Of course.
I
was appointed in July. First board meeting was end of September, so activity was just 3 months. So if you want me to account for October, November, December, if I will, yes, those 3 months that I stayed at Ghana ECG, why not? If you want to go back and say that, oh, I should come and account for my stewardship as chair of Ghana Water, why not? I mean, I kept the records, you know, and if there's any question and I have to answer,
you do so.
Able to answer.
But beyond politics,
as a member of parliament, if you want me to answer for my stewardship as a majority leader and whatever, I should be able to.
But beyond politicians and politically exposed individuals, I mean, yesterday in wrapping up the media review, even today in closing parliament, you had issues to raise with how businessmen are also treated when there's change in government. This is not the first time you've raised this issue.
As for that one, I myself am a victim. I was a victim to this way back in 2009. You know, when Professor Mills of blessed memory won. I was operating my mining support business where I had a lot of trucks doing Awaso to Takrade, hauling from Tablibo in Togo to Aplao to Bupe. And I encountered a lot of challenges, largely because I was an MPP. You know, the trailers are imported from Dubai. The company's name is Mammoth. Okay, and Mammoth is another name for elephant.
Right.
Then they had the embossment on it. So these party boys will see my trucks and stop them. They use axle load until my partner approached the presidency and the vice president, as he then was, President Mahama, spoke to them and we had our way. But within the period that they harassed us, we incurred a lot of debts. Stanchart was on my neck, Access Bank, NIB, and it took us time to pay back. To pay our loan.
Is it because businessmen, you get so attached to politicians, or you use that influence to also trample on the rights of the individuals? When there is change, people decide that it is payback time.
Government employs the chunk. Government awards the chunk of the contract. So businessmen would always approach the state agencies. It's a fact, all right? But I'm saying that there is an irony to this. Foreign businesses never get attacked when there's a change.
Maybe they don't show their hand too much.
No, it's not about it. But foreign businesses in Ghana never get attacked. And I've also observed one thing. Not a single day have I seen any of these anti-corruption CSOs or any of our investigative personalities coming out with any reports against a foreign-owned company. But, Elton, foreign-owned businesses get juicy jobs in this country, get juicy jobs from the States. Multi-year jobs. They get multi-year businesses in dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. So you realize that a Ghanaian company, you will hear Kojo Mensah, Kojo Edusei, Nana Safo, Moro Ibrahim. You hear, Kofi Azra,
right,
who is a Ghanaian, winning a contract. And the next moment, the person would have to fold up because he's been hounded in one way or the other. But you ask yourself, the same business being done by a foreigner, I don't want to list. I'm a private sector person. There are things I know, and I feel sad for my country. And I pray that we, the politicians, will change our attitude and help grow our own economy in this new era of unilateralism in foreign policy, where countries are now moving inwards and saying that they want to protect their own turf and are not extending aid to growing economies like ours. We need to sit on the table, around the table, look at the interest of Ghanaian businessmen and grow our economy. These foreign firms, they make their money, they have to repatriate it. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that if to their home country. It doesn't mean that if they've done wrong, we should. I'm not saying that we should look the other side. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that a lot of times you see that they suffer the most. The more. And I'm saying that we should look at it again. Hardly would you hear that there's a change in government, that a foreign-owned business, because would go through some harassment, because their embassies are also watching. Right. Their ambassadors, intervene for them. And because it's a foreign-owned company, an American company, a British company, you are an Israeli firm, you are scared, you are cautious. But if it's a Ghanaian company, you now would want to dig. Who supported you? Who is your friend? Oh, this guy is your friend. He's an MPP or NDC, so let's go after the person. I'm saying that the time has come for us to end this. We have huge unemployment in our country. Almost all our graduates are talking about government jobs. We have to encourage businesses to expand. We need to encourage people, instead of going to do fixed deposit, instead of going to buy treasury bill, to use those monies to establish businesses. Right. When we do that, what people do is that, okay, I have my money. Let me go and put it quietly in a fixed deposit, treasury bill, so that at the end of the month, I earn my interest and quietly enjoy. Buy my ticket, go and spend it in Dubai. Buy tickets, travel to Europe, and then the money is sitting down. We must create an atmosphere where Ghanaian businesses will feel comfortable establishing their businesses.
All right. Let's move away from that because of time, and Parliament just went on recess indefinitely. You don't know when you're coming back. You, in summing up the meeting, I mean, you reference the potential threats that Parliament face because of the numbers. And I wonder whether that is just cosmetic or there's real threats there. 184 against your side.
Well, I keep telling my friends in the NDC that careful with the precedents you are setting. Let's look at the history of our politics. 1996, NDC had almost 2/3. We had 200-member chamber. MPP had only 61 seats. Right. And NDC had over 130 seats. But in just 4 years, MPP had 100 seats. NDC lost over 30 seats. Okay? Let's say if we are talking real terms, they lost over 40. Okay? Over 40 seats. Then came 2016.
Right.
2016, we had 169 seats. What happened just in 4 years? Just in 4 years. We came back with 137 seats. They also had 137 seats. Meaning that they reclaimed.
Yeah, all they see, they lost to you.
32 seats just within 4 years. Now, the posture upon getting huge majority becomes a problem when you lose that majority and now you'd have to go and negotiate. Okay? And that's what I keep reminding our friends. You now have 180 plus.
84.
So you think that, oh, after all, the 88 or 87, we can railroad our way and then they don't matter. But even so, you realize that there are times that they themselves don't have even the 138 to do business. And that is when they try to make the overtures and try to be accommodating. But as soon as they know they have over 140, their posture changes. I'm saying that we don't need this. We are building a democracy. You never can tell tomorrow, look, today they see that our party is in crisis, which is true. We have our own challenges. We've been in power 8 years. We have major interventions that we were able to implement. We also made some mistakes. Ghanaians have punished us for our mistakes. Maybe the expectation was very high. They will not accept excuses. They punished us. And we are back home. You are now in office. In 4 years, NDC has forgotten one thing. They would also have a leadership issue. Because President Mahama, this is his last term.
At least in the next 2 years.
Of course. This is his last term. And if they don't manage themselves well, there's going to be an early lame duck period for his presidency. That is, if they don't manage themselves well. But if they manage themselves well, the president can have an active, firm leadership for at least 3 years until there's a leadership contest. Now, they are also going to struggle. Now we hear names flying here and there. So they shouldn't be too happy. Now you are in government. Some have been appointed. Some have not gotten appointment. So that apathy automatically comes in. You are a government implementing policies. Some people will be happy. Some will be disappointed. So there's another disappointment there, another apathy. So don't be too happy with the numbers now. All we need to do is to accept where we went wrong, rebrand, unite, get the base right. We finish with our leadership context.
Right.
In January, we are done. Understand the collective will of the party and then move on. And prepare for 28. If NDC mistreats us, it will be difficult for them when they lose in 2028 because some people would still insist that, hey, remember what they did to me.
And even on the floor.
And that is where we need to, they need to be measured. I'm saying that the wise ones, the smart ones, should prevail on the hawks and let them know that the victory they had in 2024 is not a forever victory.
Right.
Because you have a 2028. You're not gonna have President Mahama as your candidate. You are going to have a fresh face. Okay? You would have your own internal problems. But know that some of these things would also go against you. And then if you are now beating somebody at Ablikuma and you are proud of it, bear in mind that tomorrow you may not be in power. So I urge them to be measured. Because 2028 could be anybody's victory.
Absolutely. And I wonder, we'll come to the petition you sent to the president, whether you've gotten a response. But
yo, Jumadie no guswa aircourse of family no mesre won't subscribe to POG Media, subscribe, like Jumadie no my share them out for friends when sanka kindly click on the notification bell no so send a beyan. Ye the news be at platform no so I won't so work no the aircore and the air but some no yan twice on your father donor and yet the embra ye call a family no my Ivan and then some donor to your corner concourse.
Even on the floor, I don't know whether there's issues between you and the first deputy speaker, for example. You've had issues with some of the things that he's presided over, particularly around voting, quorum interpretation, legislative fairness. I don't know your assessments of the first deputy speaker. Despite the numbers they have, you appear to have issues with him.
Okay, so let me be very fair. I think we are all adjusting. I hear for it is his first time being a first deputy. Myself is my first time of being
a minority leader.
Aṛṛėst is first time being a majority leader. So Eche, the firm first time being chief whip on his side. I think that I don't have to take some of those issues personal, and I don't take it personal. I can't use anything that I disagree with them to judge them. I'm sure they also have problem with my approach. So I think we've had 6 months. This is our second meeting in the first session. So we are done. We are getting used to each other.
No, but even at the appointment committee, usually when he is not in the chair, the process is quite peaceful.
I'm saying
but whenever I have is in the chair, it's always more like a cat and mouse business.
I'm saying that eventually we'll get used to each other. Leadership is not easy. We all want to assert ourselves. So I'm not here to fault him or say, Bernard is this or that, Aṛṛėst is this or that. We all make mistakes. We are all adjusting. And I'm sure by end year, we would have adjusted to know each other so that we work better for the good of democracy.
The petition you presented to the president, any response from the presidency?
Officially, not as I'm aware of. Not yet.
Disappointed that the president has yet to respond to your petition. This is the minority we are talking about.
Oh, well, let's see. It's too early. I mean, we haven't received an official response. But let's see. Akuffo is coming.
I was coming to that. Whether the absence of a response and Akuffo coming up could have some
what I'm
impact
saying
on
that
the
the
conduct.
NDC's posture in Akuffo will tell us whether they are turning a new leaf. They would want democracy to be without violence. So let's see how they react in Akuffo.
But if there's no resolution, there's no a path in terms of the parties coming together to work through towards Akuffo, and with the hindsight of what happened at Lėak North, then clearly the both parties will go into Akuffo with some kind of a mindset of protection.
No, MPP is a law-abiding party. I do not think that violence has helped any democracy. We must not encourage it. We must not support it. We should rather take steps to give a positive outlook to democracy. People must do their campaign. The process of voting must be safeguarded. When it comes to the counting, we should allow the space for fair, transparent system. I think we should all work towards that. All right? But seriously, when you initiate violence, it becomes difficult to control it. And I keep telling our friends, if for any reason we made some mistakes, it is not for them to repeat. Okay? If we made some mistakes that they were not happy about, they compromising or they be acting peaceful or they coming in with a new approach wouldn't make them what's the word? I want to use a particular word. It would come. But I'm saying that they should look at the broader issue and the bigger picture of governance and say that, look, all that Ghana needs is peace. Look at what is happening in Boko. Somebody was killed in Kumasi. Somebody was killed in Asawase. And at Afenyo, somebody was shot. You never can tell. When people have their own personal scores, they use some of these things to settle scores. Why not de-escalate? We are the political leaders. Our utterances, our posture. Some of these boys, and I keep also cautioning NDC, you use them, one day, when you don't satisfy them, they would unleash that violence on you.
But that surprises you that up until now, there's not been any movement in terms of prosecuting those who
obviously because they sponsored them. I mean, there's no doubt on my mind that the party hierarchy knew what was happening. They supported them. Of course, the leaders decided to stay away from the crime scene. They did the plausible deniability thing. But we are not kids. I mean, we had intel that that was what they were going to do. And they followed through. But they should be mindful that one day some of these boys would come after them.
Few issues, and then we can go. Two issues I want to touch on before our time run out. Ora and the way they are going about it. You say there's selective justice and political witch hunting. The Attorney General this week justified the reason why they entered into a 60-40 deal with the founder of the defunct Unibank. Your thoughts on that, and we can talk about the MPP.
You think he was successful in convincing us or persuading Ghanaians that he was on the right path? No. I'm saying that with time, Ghanaians will know their true colors. Why? You are saying that you struck a 60-40 deal. On what? When you yourself, you were previously the man's counsel. What many people have forgotten is that the Attorney General was a lawyer for the defense counsel for Dr. Dufo when they were in opposition. And then today you issue a statement saying that, you are not saying they are guilty, neither are you saying they've been acquitted, but because they were able to reach out to you. Who does this?
But it has led to a recovery of some amount.
Recovered what? What have they recovered? Please. He never said so. Let's leave it there. He claimed there were some asset, blah, blah, blah. Please.
Asset worth over 800 million in other cities.
Please.
And then commitment to pay some amount of money.
Please.
And then the admission that they were fictitious in the presentation of bank records to the regulator.
Please. Bro, let's give it time. Let's give it time. Everything is a matter of time. Let's give it time.
You think Ghanaians are ready for the MPP? I mean, in Parliament yesterday and today, you spent some time apologizing for some of the decisions you took whilst in government, which did not go well, and you think that you should be forgiven. Have you done enough to win back their love?
Well, I would admit that many people, especially our own base, are still not happy with us. The anger is there, I admit. But they also expect that we do things better in terms of internal organization. You see, Alton, there's something about life and human psychology. When somebody has so much trust in you and has so much confidence in you and you disappoint, it doesn't matter how well you've done. Because of the person's expectation, has a high expectation. If you disappoint, the person gets hurt.
Right.
If you look at the result, check some of our strongholds. The turnout was very low.
Right.
Meaning our own base decided that we won't vote. After the elections, I've spoken to quite a number of people. I meet people at programs, at functions, and they tell me, I didn't. Oh, Honorable Media Alban too. And if you ask, they give you reason. I think, fortunately, we've been able to do our first constitutional amendment after the Okoye report. And the next stage is the flag bearership election.
Right.
When we get done, the next step would be to proceed with the reorganization, reaching out, reconciliation, because you have elections, obviously, you need to reach out. And then look at the party's values. What do we stand for? What can we do to make Ghanaians show us that love they showed us in 2000 and 2016? Ghanaians are not saying we did not implement free SHS. They are not saying they are not happy with what we did in terms of free SHS. Ghanaians have not questioned us on what we did to revive the health insurance. If you move across the nation, the roads we did, Ghanaians appreciate. However, they expected more. And there were some mistakes that they felt that no, MPP, that is not you. You should have known better, you should have done better. It is enough. Once you get to know this, your job is to repackage yourself and give assurance. All right. I am quite sure that eventually when we do all this internal reorganization and assure the nation that, look, give us another chance. After all, didn't President Mahama ask for another chance?
Yes, he did.
And didn't the Ghanaian people, upon hearing him, give him the chance? Now he's been given the chance. He's been exposed that the Galamsey, organized labor, has told us. They have done research. They've been there. They're saying that, look, within 5 months, the Galamsey situation has worsened. UTAG has also questioned them. So the Galamsey issue, for instance, which started in their time, that they said we could not successfully deal with it. They got a chance, and it's obvious that they could not.
In just a minute before we go, I mean, your question with capture power will depend on who you present. Already we've got names like Dr. Bawumia, Honorable Kennedy Japan, Dr. Sir Chumbrana Champon, Kwabena Japan. What does this diversity of contenders say about the future of the leadership?
It's good for the party. It tells you that people still believe that the party has prospects. Listen, it is not easy for somebody to publicly declare to serve his party, be it at the parliamentary level or to be a flag bearer. It's not easy. So we should even commend the courage of these gallant patriots of ours for saying that I want to put myself up to be elected.
Right.
They all have their vision. I pray that we do so without any rancor. We in Parliament have a duty to stay united so that we rally behind whoever becomes the candidate. I can't be here to say that because people are contesting, this is my preference or that. No. We need to rally behind whoever becomes the winner. And in the campaign, even if you disagree with somebody's candidature, there's a way to express it.
All right.
It's not good to go on air and condemn another candidate because you have your own candidate. I would encourage our colleagues, MPP members, to campaign on the strength of their preferred candidate,
right,
rather than condemning. Because if you condemn another person, use unpalatable words, unprintable words, then after the election you say reconciliation,
it won't work.
It becomes difficult to achieve. So they should all add up to the process of reconciliation now, where your own actions, your utterances, things you say, things you write on social media will all be aimed at ensuring reconciliation.
We'll have to leave it to Honorable because of
and the Jumadian no ABC at the amount the Diacoson Yan Peter POG Media the end to subscribe, like Jumadian share name for friends and can be kindly click on the notification bell on the Susanabia. You're the news beato platform so I want so well who the air and the air but Jumadiano dear you will intimate Roger Bray now on the POG Media in details with the Macramo.